Hey guys, today's tutorial is going to be on linking external libraries to your C++ project in Visual Studios. This guide should work for any edition of Visual Studios. Might be a few minor differences. You shouldn't run into any problems. Using this method, we'll be linking them, but we'll be putting the libraries inside of your project folder so that you can take your project folder on any computer and it should be able to run just fine. For this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to integrate OpenGL into your project. I'm going to be using Glue and GLFW. Here are the download websites for them. I'll put the links in the description. I myself I'm using 64-bit Windows binaries. You can use 32-bit Windows binaries if you're on a 32-bit machine or you know you'll be using on a 32-bit machine. You don't want the source package, you will want the Windows precompiled binaries. So I click on the 64-bit or 32-bit version, whichever one you need, and same for Glue, you just want to get the Windows binaries. Once you download them, you want to unzip them and just put them somewhere you can find them. And what you want to do is in Visual Studios, you will want to go and make a new project, or make sure you've already created a project which you would like to link. I'm going to call it linking tutorial. Okay. And it's best just to make an empty project and link it correctly, and then whenever you want to make a new OpenGL project or new project using the libraries that you want, you can just copy and paste over this blank project and it saves you from linking it up every single time. But anyway, since I've made the project, it will now exist in my file system. I can find it here, this linking tutorial here. I'm just going to open it up and I'm going to add two new folders. The first folder I'm going to add is going to be called includes. And the second folder I'm going to add is going to be called libraries. And I'm going to open up includes, and includes is where we're going to stick all the external libraries headers. So we'll do GLFW free first. It's called GLFW free because of the version free, if you're just wondering. Since I'm using Visual Studios 2013, this is an external library that will depend on your Visual Studios edition. So whenever you open up your project, make sure you're opening it in the Visual Studios edition which you've put the right libraries in for, if you know what I mean. Because obviously if you use the 2015 version libraries and try to open up 2013, you probably will run into some problems. But first things first, we'll be adding the headers file. So go into the include, and in the include there'll be a file called GLFW, and if you look inside there, that's just the headers. So what we'll do is I'll copy the header folder and just stick it into my includes folder, and that's that. You can just copy and paste the header straight into the includes folder, but having it this way, you can separate every single kind of external library by its own little folder. I think it is neater. So now you want to go into the lib folder and find the version you want, so 2013, and these files here, the object file libraries, these are the lib files. So you want to copy these lib files and you want to paste it into the libraries. Okay, and you don't need to make a new folder for this step. And then finally, back out. So now you're in your project folder. Whatever your project's called, there'll be another folder with the same name. So here's another folder called linking tutorial. This is like the source folder. So open up that. This is where like normally all the code would go if you make like a new CPP file, a new header file. So I'm going to copy and paste this .dll, this glfw3.dll inside the project source folder. So whenever this project runs, this will be run as well. So the computer that it's run on does not necessarily need to have this in its Windows 32, because there are other tutorials and on the website it does tell you to put this in your Windows 32 file location, but that would be like kind of no good if you're running on a different computer or sending it to a friend, because what if your friend doesn't have this already installed? You know, you'd have to tell them to, oh yeah, go put this file somewhere, and that's just like too much effort really. So that's GLFW, that's everything you have to do for that, and we're just going to do the exact same thing again for Glue. We're going to go on to, we'll do the includes first, and it looks exactly the same. You see there's like another folder which contains the headers. If you want, again, you can just copy and paste the headers straight in, but I like to keep things separated, so I'm just going to copy this and paste it in here. Same again. Glue is an example of an external library which Visual Studios Edition doesn't really depend on a Visual Studios Edition, so there's just like one library for everything. So I'm just going to go on release, not release MX. I'm going to go on my version 64. You'll get version 32 if you need 32. I'm going to go on libraries and paste them in my libraries. It's easy as that. And the last thing, to find the .dll for glue, the .dll is in the bin. So if you're using, if you follow the steps, you should be able to install any external library. The .dlls are normally in the bin folder, and it's going to go on release. Make sure you always use the same release as the other libraries. Version 64. Let's copy the DLL and it's going to paste it inside of here. And there you go, it's that easy. That's all the moving files, that's all the copy and pasting done, like including it properly. So the next things to do is to go into Visual Studios and have your project open. On the right hand side is Solution Explorer. You want to right click on your project and go on Properties. And it'll bring up this window, and you want to go into Configuration Properties, and you want to go into VC++ directory. So just look like this. Click on that. There'll be a General tab, and in General is Include Directories. And if you guessed it, Include Directories is where we're going to be adding our new header folder. So if you click on I'll go for it. You click on the down arrow, then click on Edit. This little window will pop up. Double click on the white space here. A little box will turn up. If you click on that box, it'll open up File Finder, and you'll be inside the source folder. Just back up one folder, and here we have the includes folder. Just double click on that. So now you've selected that folder, so just click on select folder, and now we have the includes kind of linked up. Now the problem is here, what if we moved this project folder to like a different location? This won't change dynamically. We'd have to keep on changing this every time. So if you went to put this on another computer, this wouldn't work. The solution to this is we can remove everything, including the project name, to be addressed dynamically with a macro. And the macro is, so let's remove all of this, so we're just left with /includes, and replace it with $open bracket solution directory, but directory says capital D-I-R and close bracket. And just to show you on the macros, if you scroll down to S, here we go. I'm blind, I can't see. Here we go. You see here, solution directory is the value of where the solution is in the hard drive. So see users, Ivan, documents, Visual Studio 2013, projects, and then the actual project name itself. So if we move this would dynamically change. So I'll show you after. I'll move the folder later on just to prove to you that you can move this folder along and it still will be all linked properly. So this is the proper way to link it, by using the solution directory then /includes. So we'll do OK for that. We'll click apply. Next thing to do is the library directories. These are the lib files that we added, the object file library files. So click on the down arrow here again, click on edit. This window will pop up similarly like the last include window. Double click on the white space, click on the box, opens up File Finder. Same again, go to your project, click on libraries, click on select folder. We can remove this hard-coded file path and replace it with $open bracket solution directory, like that. And so you can look for yourself in the macros the correct spelling if you can't see it well on the screen. I don't know how well this is going to turn up after I render it. Click apply again, so the settings are saved. Now the very last thing to do is just add the external dependencies. Additional dependencies. We're going to go on linker. So under configuration properties, there'll be a linker. Click on that. Click on the down arrow. You'll get a new menu. You want to go on input. And here we have additional dependencies. So these are the default ones that is default for every C++ program, which normally works normally. You're going to click on edit here. This window will pop up, and if you're wondering what we're going to add here, we'll be adding in the I'll quickly load up my project, 1 second. Shouldn't be long. Studio 2013 projects, linking tool, accidentally close it before. So the libraries that we added glue32, glue32s.lib, glfw3, etc. These are what we're going to be adding in here. Like similarly as you see, the kernel32.lib is like an inherited library. So we're going to be adding all these libraries. I'm just going to put it over here. So it'll be glue32.lib, glue32s.lib, then glfw3.lib, glfw3dll.lib, and finally this is an OpenGL tutorial, so finally the last one we'll add is OpenGL32.lib. If you're doing like another Excel, if you're not like doing the exact same libraries as I'm doing, you're just going to consult the manual page. I'll click apply, save everything. Yeah, so if you go onto for an example, glue. This is the OpenGL 32 is a required additional dependency for glue. So I went on the install. If you go on the installation page at the bottom, it tells you remember to link your project with glue and glut and OpenGL 32. We didn't have glut because we weren't doing the glut as well. We were doing GLFW instead. So yeah, it will tell you on the manual if you have to add anything else. So if you're wondering why it doesn't compile, because it might be like another additional library you might have to add. But anyways, that's everything linked, and just to test it out, we'll add a new class, CPP file even. Let's make a main, and the easiest way to test it is just try to include, and if it compiles, it works. If it doesn't compile, we'll probably run into something, or try and fix it. So we include. So since in the includes folder, it looks like GL slash is GL folder, then glues inside GL. So we have to call this GL. If you didn't separate the headers with folders, you can just call glue just like this, but obviously this won't work for me since I have it inside a GL folder inside the includes. So you always want to include glue before any other, well, before GLFW at least, because it is just a requirement. It just acts funny if you include glue afterwards, you will just have errors and it's just not nice. So yeah, that's how you include both of them. Make a an int main method, just return 0, and if this builds, if it builds and compiles, pretty much no problems, because what the build does, it just copies and pastes everything in the header file, pastes it here. Here, exit with code 0. If there was any problems, there'd be some linker errors. Yeah, ignore these errors, it's subject to my computer. But yeah, you can see exited fine, code 0. That's how you link a project with external libraries. And yeah, that's it really. I'll quickly go over what we did again. Remember, so the first things first, well, quickly go over the folder first. We included the headers and we separated them with 2 folders, like for each different library. So the glue ones are in here, the GLFW ones in here. Libraries are the .lib folders. Make sure you get the right version. Like, so these are 64-bit versions. If you're doing 32-bit, make sure you get the 32-bit. Make sure, remember again, GLFW 3 is dependent on Visual Studio's edition, so these are 2013 editions. In the linking tutorial, in the actual source folder, we have the .dlls. And then after doing that, we linked it properly by using the solution $solution directory /includes, and then doing the well, just doing $solution directory will provide the dynamically, like it'll find the right solution path, I guess. Just to prove it, I'll quickly, oops, I closed it again, it's not good, I'll quickly find the solution, 1 second. So you go, here we have linking tutorial. I'll just move it into the desktop now. Go on properties. Actually, no, I'll open it even. Open up the project in Visual Studios. I'll run it again just to make sure it works. Yep, exit with code 0, it's fine. And you go, we'll quickly check on properties just because we have a bit of time. Go on VCC, let's go on edit. The macro, let's check the macros. We'll see that the macro for the solution directory dynamically finds, see, it finds the new solution. So I can put this on a USB stick, I can send this to a friend, it should just run completely fine. Note that this will be subject to Visual Studio 2013. What I'll do is I'll just zip up this file, I'll put it in the description as well in case you want to download it, in case you can't really follow along if you can't see what I'm writing, because I don't know how this is going to render out. I'll do 2015 version 2, people want that. And really that's it, guys. It's the exact same thing for any other external libraries. If you wanted to link any other external libraries, it's kind of the exact same method. You just put the headers and the includes, the .libs in the libraries, the .dlls and the source folder. When you link everything up like that, make sure you use $solution directory so it can find the solution directory, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, just remember, I'll be uploading the 2013 Visual Studios edition and 2015, so if you download the 2013 and try to run it on like 2010, do expect to run into some issues. I don't know what will happen, but you'll probably won't be able to work out. But yes, that's it. That's everything. If you have any problems, just write a comment down, I'll try and get back to you. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.